ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवतसेवया
भगवते उत्तमश्लोके
भगवते उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठकी।
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
वासुदेवाय
देवकीनन्दनाय च
देवकीनन्दनाय च
देवकीनन्दनाय च
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
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 गोविन्दाय नमो नमः।
गोविन्दाय
गोविन्दाय
नमो
नमो
नमः।
नमः।
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय।
जय
अनंतर श्रीमद् भागवत
हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण।
कृष्ण।
Okay, so someone can confirm where we left last time?
Is it 16th verse? 6.16? 6.15 I think we completed.
Okay, we are in the conversation between Narada and Vyasadeva, right? 16th verse.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu.
Page number, Prabhuji. Oh.
First canto, first chapter, sixth chapter, sixth chapter, conversation of Narad Muni and Vyasadeva. Just a minute. Yeah, 6.16. My cursor is at 6:16. Okay. So we'll start from 16th verse, right? Okay. So you can put on your videos, it will be good. Looks up. You're more into the personal form rather than impersonal Brahman. Request all to put on your videos and come out of Brahman effulgence.
प्रभु जी निशित बोल रहा हूँ।
हाँ निश्चित प्रभु।
प्रभु जी मैं आई मीन आई एम जॉइनिंग दिस फॉर फर्स्ट टाइम, तो मेरे
Yeah.
पास अभी भागवतम है नहीं बुक। आई विल अरेंज दैट नेक्स्ट टाइम।
Yeah, I'll share on the screen प्रभु, क्योंकि हम आज ऑनलाइन कर रहे हैं, so I'll just let me share on the screen the Veda based part so that we can recite the shlokas and the translation.
थैंक यू।
Just give me one moment. Let me know if you can see the screen. Okay.
Yes,
So
Prabhu.
किसी कारणवश आज हम लोग ऑनलाइन कर रहे हैं. Normally we do it physical offline. So but anyway, Bhagavatam should continue. So we are doing it online. So let us read. Before we get into Bhagavatam, uh, सनातन गोस्वामी ने बहुत ही सुंदर श्लोकों की रचना की है भागवतम के ग्लोरिफिकेशन में. इट सेज परमानंद पाठाय प्रेम वर्षक्षराय ते सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्री कृष्णाय नमोस्तु मे. सो व्हाट ही सेज, परमानंद पाठाय प्रेम वर्ष अक्षराय ते. परमानंद पाठाय, केवल इसको पढ़ने मात्र से यू एक्सपीरियंस द ट्रांसेंडेंटल ब्लिस. परमानंद पाठाय, प्रेम वर्ष अक्षरायते, हर एक जो भागवतम का अक्षर है, एक एक सिलेबल, ईच ऑफ एवरी अक्षर ऑफ श्रीमद् भागवतम इज लाइक द रेन ऑफ लव. प्रेम वर्ष अक्षरायते. जस्ट बाय रीडिंग श्रीमद् भागवतम यू एक्सपीरियंस ट्रांसेंडेंटल ब्लिस. केवल पढ़ने मात्र से हमें अलौकिक आनंद की अनुभूति होती है. और वो प्रेम वर्षा, एक एक अक्षर जो है वो श्रीमद् भागवतम का कैसा है, प्रेम वर्षा के अनुसार है. उसके उसके अकॉर्डिंग है. प्रेम वर्षा अक्षरायते. सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय. सर्वदा मीन्स एवरी, ऑलवेज. सर्वदा इज अ फैक्टर ऑफ टाइम. सो ऑलवेज क्या होता है, सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय. हर कोई जो है, ऑल द टाइम दे आर सर्विंग श्रीमद् भागवतम. सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय. वाई दे आर सर्विंग श्रीमद् भागवतम? बिकॉज श्री कृष्णाय नमोस्तुमे. बिकॉज देर इज नो डिफरेंस बिटवीन श्री कृष्णा एंड श्रीमद् भागवतम हिमसेल्फ. राइट. सो भगवान कृष्ण और श्रीमद् भागवतम में कोई भी अंतर नहीं है. दैट इज वाई जैसे हम लोग श्री भगवान श्री कृष्ण को वी आर ऑलवेज ट्राइंग टू सर्व, सिमिलरली वी हैव टू सर्व श्रीमद् भागवतम ऑलवेज. Right, that is what the shloka says. And how we can best serve Srimad Bhagavatam? How we can best serve Srimad Bhagavatam? Who will tell me?
Reading and listening
Yeah, by reading and by listening and
and
by
follow.
implementing the instructions in our life. And that is how you serve Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So there are two types of Bhagavat, book Bhagavat and person Bhagavat. So book Bhagavat is the Srimad Bhagavatam, and person Bhagavat is the person who is living the life as per Srimad Bhagavatam. He is a person Bhagavat. So you can serve both person Bhagavat as well as book Bhagavat. So let us serve Srimad Bhagavatam by reading. Or we are in the chapter of conversation of Narad Muni and Vyasadev, when Narad Muni is giving instructions to Srila Vyasadev. And we started the chapter with Vyasadev inquiries to Narada's life, that how he became Narad Muni and previously वो कौन थे वगैरह वगैरह. And then Narad Muni speaks of the Lord appearance before him, that how his mother was bitten by the serpent, and the mother was the only shelter, and the child, he was the only child, but mother was bitten by the serpent. And then he went to he led the life of mendicant after that, क्योंकि mother was no more on the planet. And he traveled towards the north, and he went through a lot of various creation of the Lord. He went through villages, towns, farms, mines, agriculture lands, so many, he experiences all those things. And uske baad he experiences through meditation. So he sits at one place and he meditates upon the Lord. And that's where we are now, that what is he meditating. So एक जगह सारा घूमने के बाद he sat under a banyan tree and then he started meditating, right? So let us see what he meditates. So this is the shloka where we are now, that what he is meditating upon. So I'll read the Sanskrit and then you can orderly we can start reading the translation. ध्यायतश्चराम्भोजं भावनिर्जतचेतसा उत्कालध्यरसु कलाक्षया हृदय अस्मिन् अस्मिन्मे सनेर्हरे. You can start from Sudhinder Prabhu. You can read the translation.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As soon as I began to meditate upon the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, with my mind transformed in transcendental love, tears rolled down my ears, and without delay, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, appeared on the lotus of my heart.
तो क्या हुआ यहाँ पर? As soon as he began to meditate, Narad Muni, upon the lotus feet of the Lord. So while we are meditating, हमें क्या करना है? So we are understanding Bhagavatam so that we understand what we have to meditate while we are chanting, right? So जैसे नारद मुनि ने क्या किया? He meditated upon the lotus feet of the Lord, right, within the mind, and transformed into the transcendental love. Tears rolled down my eyes, and without delay, the personality of God had appeared on the lotus of my heart, right? So जैसे ही भगवान को उन्होंने याद किया during his meditation, he remembered the lotus feet of the Lord, right? भगवान के चरण कमलों का उन्होंने ध्यान किया, and then in no time tears rolled out from his eyes, and then Krishna appeared before him in his meditation, right? So this is what we are exactly supposed to do while we are doing the chanting of holy name. We have to remember the lotus feet of the Lord. राइट। इसलिए एक बहुत अच्छा सीरीज है बाय आई थिंक अतुल कृष्ण प्रभु, गोविंद चरण, राइट। मैंने फॉरवर्ड भी किया था ग्रुप में, सो यू कैन लिसन टू दैट गोविंद चरण। इट डिस्क्राइब्स ऑल द चिन्हस इन द लोटस फीट ऑफ द लॉर्ड। अलग अलग सिंबल्स हैं भगवान के लोटस फीट में, so we can remember the Lord, how we have to remember the Lord lotus feet. So that is all very nice class. We can meditate upon that, right? So जैसे भगवान को उन्होंने याद किया लोटस फीट को, and then Krishna appeared in front of his on the lotus of his heart. Hmm? Let's see what happens next. प्रेमातिभिर्निर्भिन्ना पुलाकङ्गो तिनिवृतः आनन्दा सम्प्लवे लीनो नाप्स्यं तुभ्यं मुने। One can read the translation. सरिता माता जी, read in order. I'll not call out the names. जो भी है, let's continue reading by order.
Okay. Okay, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Vyasadeva, at that time, being exceedingly overpowered by feelings of happiness, every part of my body became separately en- enlivened.
Hmm.
Being absorbed in ocean of ecstasy, I could not see both myself and the Lord.
Hmm. So what happened to him now when the Lord appeared before him, he was overpowered by the feeling of happiness, है ना? ऐसा मतलब ऐसा होता है कि जो हम we were expecting that is in front of us, right? So what we are expecting, if suddenly it comes in front of us, what is the feeling? So we are overpowered by feeling of happiness. That was happened with Narad Muni. This is a symptom of Shuddha Bhakti, that when the Lord appears, sometimes होता है ना, every part of my body become unleavened, separately unleavened. कई बार होता है ना, when the altar is opening, you are standing in the मंगल आरती, जैसे altar खुलता है and then you have the goosebumps and then the hairs are standing on the end, sometimes it happens, right? When you hear the shankha dhwani also, तो एक ecstatic feeling आता है, right? So similarly, Narad Muni is also experiencing, he is becoming ecstatic, right? Being absorbed in the ocean of ecstasy, he could not see himself as well as the Lord. So he could not hold the moment because it was so ecstatic. Hmm. That is how he's experiencing. Let us read the next one. Rupam bhagavato yattan mana kantam suchapaham apasyan sahat satoste vaiklav vaiklavyad durmana iva. Read the translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The transcendental form of the Lord, as it is, satisfies the mind's desire and at once erases all mental incongruities. Upon losing that form, I suddenly got up, being perturbed, as is usual when one loses that which is desirable.
Hmm. So he has seen the image of the Lord, he has seen the visual experience of the Lord, एंड इट सेटिस्फाइड ऑल द माइंड्स डिज़ायर। क्योंकि मतलब अभी हम लोग चर्चा कर रहे थे कि बहुत सारे माइंड्स की डिज़ायर होती है, बहुत सारे मन की जो है बहुत सारी इच्छाएं होती हैं, एंड द माइंड इज कम्प्लीटली वॉन्डरिंग इन मेनी डिज़ायर्स, बट एट वंस इफ द माइंड इज एब्जॉर्ब्ड इन द ट्रांसेंडेंटल फॉर्म ऑफ द लॉर्ड, एज इफ सारी जो डिज़ायर्स है दे आर ऑल सेटिस्फाइड, नो, at once erases all mental incongruities. So at once everything was satisfied and his mind was at peace. But what happened immediately after that? The form vanished. The form he lost. Narad Muni, he formed the form which was in front of his eyes in during meditation. He lost that form. As if मतलब इतना सारा आपको happiness मिला हो and क्षण के लिए, and then you lose that happiness, right? And just imagine if you are getting something very precious in your life for a moment which you were desiring from long time, and you lose that immediately after some time. So he got suddenly disturbed and perturbed, and he was completely shattered by not seeing the form of the Lord anymore. ये हुआ है किसी के साथ? Can anyone share similar experience, materially or spiritually? now? Sarita Mataji, you have some experience of this?
I didn't understand the question, Prabhu.
You have experienced something that you received which you were desiring from long time and then you lost it also.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
So that is the question.
Um, yeah, like the initial stages, we will experience that bliss, Prabhuji, because the heart will be pure and we have that anxiety of what I could say, like the over the period of time, it becomes diluted. So that mercy we will be missing.
Hmm.
It takes some time to again get back, and I don't know how when again it comes.
Okay. Yeah, I can relate what you're trying to say.
Mm-mm.
So sometimes while chanting also, you experience something, right? For a momentarily. I don't know how much you have experienced that. Just think when you are really chanting, when you are deeply absorbed, for some fraction of second you experience something and then it is withdrawn again. Right? So this exactly happened with Narad Muni. So let's see what he does next. चित्रक्षुस्तद् अहं भूय प्राणिधाय मनोहृदि वीक्षमाणोऽपि नाप्स्यम् अवित् अवित्प्रता इवातुरः. Translation.
Hare Krishna, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. I desired to see again that transcendental form of the Lord, but despite my attempts to concentrate upon the heart with eagerness to view the form again, I could not see him anymore, and thus dissatisfied, I was very much aggrieved.
So क्या हुआ यहाँ पर? When he saw the image of the Lord, he tried to see the form again by his attempt on his own endeavor, right? Because of his eagerness, क्योंकि इतना वो beautiful form था, which he was trying to see again. With his own endeavor, he tried, but despite his attempts, he was not successful. I could not see him anymore, right? And he was still dissatisfied. So what does it mean? Narad Muni was trying to see the Lord, and he could not. So what do we infer from here? क्या क्या समझ में आ रहा है हमको यहाँ पे?
It's mercy of the Krishna only. If we try to get it, if we think ourselves, it's not possible.
Yes, very correct. So if Krishna wants to reveal, it is by his own mercy he will reveal himself to us. Hmm? The degree where we are chanting, the degree where the how we are involved, हमारे जितना प्रयास है, हमारा जितना endeavor है in our own sadhana, Krishna will bestow the mercy accordingly and he will reveal himself to that degree, right? We cannot see Krishna mechanically, or we should not attempt to do that also, क्योंकि it will never be successful. क्योंकि नारद मुनि के केस में सक्सेसफुल नहीं हुआ. कई बार चैंटिंग करते वक्त हमें लगता है कि अरे हमें भगवान दिख क्यों नहीं रहे हैं, या फिर हमें ये पर्टिकुलर एक्सपीरियंस क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, राइट? समटाइम वी ट्राई टू ओवर पावर कृष्णा एज इफ ही इज अवर सर्वेंट, राइट? बट वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड वन थिंग कि हमें अपना प्रयास करना है एंड देन लीव द रेस्ट ऑन कृष्णा. वेन एवर ही वॉन्ट्स टू शावर मर्सी, he will shower mercy. Our job is to be patient and keep on doing our sadhana. Right? हमें ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि भगवान मर्सी क्यों नहीं दिखा रहे हैं, why he is not giving darshan, or why he is not behaving in a particular way, right? He is free to behave as he wants, right? So let us not try to control Krishna in that way, but do our part and leave the rest to him, right? So let's see what he does with Narad Muni, how he reciprocates. बस फॉर्म तो दिख नहीं रहा था अभी, so let us see what he is having further.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
Yes.
प्रभु जी, लाइक आपको कुछ ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस हुआ है तो बताएं. You have experienced anything like that? Because I have not experienced anything. Nobody is saying anything. So if you have experienced anything, just to know how it will.
That's a very personal question. But anyway, so we can discuss since we are in the closed group. So yeah, devotees experience similar things. मतलब devotees sometimes जब chanting करते हैं तो they have the they have some kind of realizations. They have some kind of uh, glimpse of Krishna's mercy in different forms. Maybe they visualize certain leelas. Maybe they visualize certain form of the Lord or something of that sort. So I'm very naive to have such kind of realizations, Mataji. So, but yes, devotees have shared sometimes that they experience while chanting because of absorption. They chant, and एक हम हमारे साथ भी होता है कई बार. You can also relate, as I am telling you that sometimes कोई अब लीला सुन रहे होते हैं, या we are in that स्थली, we are in Vrindavan, and maybe we are in that potent स्थली, and then somebody is describing the leela, right? Some devotee is describing the leela, and sometimes the leela is happening in front of our eyes, right? We can visualize the leela, we can have that goosebumps, and we can experience that aura around us. And suddenly after some time that everything disappears, and we are at back to the square one, because of some material things or some our attachments. So that happens that way with many devotees. So yeah, that's what I can say as of now, right? But with Narad Muni, what happened? Let's see. Evam yatatam bij. Yeah, this correct shloka, right? 20th. Evam yatatam vijane mam agacharo giram gambhira slank naya vacha sucha prasamayan iva. One can read the translation.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Seeing my attempts in that lonely place, the personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all mundane description, spoke to me with gravity and pleasing words just to mitigate my grief.
So यहाँ पर क्या हुआ? Seeing my attempts in the lonely place. So Narad Muni is saying that he was trying very hard to see the form of the Lord. Mechanically he was trying, but nothing was coming in front of his eyes. But bestowing that, seeing that attempts, Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, mercifully, uh, who is transcendental to all mundane description, spoke to me. So Krishna, Supreme Lord, spoke to him with gravity and pleasing words, right? So he didn't give the form darshan, but he spoke, right, through words. And हम लोग क्या समझते हैं? We understand that भगवान के शब्द and भगवान में कोई अंतर नहीं है, right? There's no difference between the voice of Krishna and Krishna himself, right? So voice of Krishna he heard with gravity, that is also as good as associating with Krishna, right? That is what it is he's experiencing. That his grief was mitigated with that. So let us see what the Lord is speaking to Narad Muni now. हन्तास्मिन् जन्मनि भवान् मां द्रष्टुम् इहार्हति अपि क्वा शयनाम् अपि क्वा क्षयनाम् दुष्दारोऽहं कुयोगिनाम्. Someone can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Narada, the Lord spoke. I regret that during this lifetime you will not be able to see me anymore. Those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from all material taints can hardly see me.
So क्या बोलते हैं भगवान यहाँ पर? I regret that during this lifetime you will not be able to see me anymore. So ये कौन सा lifetime चल रहा है नारद मुनि का?
Same as a child.
Dasi
Yes, Dasiputra, when he was as a child of the maid servant, that lifetime we are talking now. So in this lifetime, you will not be seeing me anymore. Those who are incomplete in their service and who are not completely free from material taints can hardly see me. So हमारा अगर क्वेश्चन है कि हमें भगवान क्यों नहीं दिखते हैं, this is the answer. Why we don't see the Lord? This is the answer. Who are incomplete in their service and who are not completely free from material taints can hardly see me. So if you want to take darshan, we have to see darshan of the Lord. We have to be completely free from material taints and complete in our service. This is what it means, right? तो जो pure devotees होते हैं, they are actually seeing the Lord everywhere, right? We go to Vrindavan and हमको क्या दिखता है? हमको बस वही नदी नाले दिखते हैं, एंड वी सी ट्रैश हियर एंड देयर, एंड वी सी सो मेनी थिंग्स, राइट? बट प्योर डिवोटीज जब वृंदावन जाते हैं तो दे फील एक्सटेटिक, दे सी कृष्णा एवरीवेयर, राइट? दे सी द धाम, क्योंकि धाम जो है वो हिडन रहता है, धाम इज कवरिंग इन ऑल दोस गार्बेज एंड अदर थिंग्स, द धाम इज कवरिंग हिमसेल्फ। लेकिन जो प्योर डिवोटीज होते हैं, दे कैन सी कृष्णा, दे कैन सी द लॉर्ड, राइट? बिकॉज दे आर फ्री फ्रॉम मटेरियल टेंट, सो दिस इज द क्वालिफिकेशन रिक्वायर्ड टू सी द लॉर्ड। तो कल को कोई अगर आपको पूछता है कि भगवान दिखाओ मुझे, क्या तुम्हारे भगवान सही में हैं, दिखाओ मुझे, तो यू कैन नॉट सी द लॉर्ड बिकॉज यू आर नॉट फ्री फ्रॉम मटेरियल टेंट्स एंड इनकम्प्लीट इन योर सर्विस। फॉर सीइंग द लॉर्ड यू नीड क्वालिफिकेशन, ऐसे ही कोई किसी को मिल नहीं सकता है। टू जस्ट मीट सम प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ सम कंट्री ऑल्सो यू नीड सो मेनी अपॉइंटमेंट, सो मेनी qualifications to meet him, to see him. So Bhagwan is the Trilokanath Swami, Tribhang, and then he is the Anantakoti Nayak. So you cannot just see the Lord without any qualification. So what is the qualification? This is the qualification. You have to be completely free from material taints and complete in your service. Let's see further. सकृत्यादर्शितं रूपम् एतत् कामयते नग मत्कामशनके साधु सर्वान् मुञ्चति हृच्छयन् चयान्. Hmm. Someone can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. O virtuous one, you have only once seen my person, and this is just to increase your desires for me. Because the more you hanker off for me, the more you will be freed from all material desires.
See, this is again a very important point here. This is for all of us to understand and contemplate and meditate upon. He is saying, Krishna is saying to him, you have only seen me once in person, my personal form. This is just to increase your desire for me. मैंने अपना खुद का आपको दर्शन दिया just so that your desire increases further. What desire? To again see the Lord. That is a desire, right? Because the more you hanker for me, the more you will be freed from material desires. तो सिर्फ भगवान को देखने की जो उत्साह है, देखने का जो हमारा उत्सुकता है, राइट, उसी से हमारा शुद्धिकरण होगा. The more you desire for the Lord, the more you desire for the activities of the Lord, more you desire for hearing the activities of the Lord, more you desire to go to Vrindavan, will clear your material, will be, you will be purifying you from material desires. हैंकरिंग होना चाहिए भगवान के लिए, लौल्यम होना चाहिए भगवान के लिए, राइट? हम लोग कई बार सोचते हैं कि चलो जाते हैं वृंदावन, जाते हैं वृंदावन, जाते हैं वृंदावन, जाते हैं, राइट? बट वृंदावन जाने के बाद जो हम सेपरेशन फील करते हैं वृंदावन से, या वी रिमेंबर वृंदावन धाम बाय नॉट बीइंग इन वृंदावन, right? We long for Vrindavan, we desire for Vrindavan, we hanker for going to Vrindavan. That actually is clearing our material desires. That actually is making us more purified. You understand? So hankering about the Lord, this is exactly the bhav of gopis, right? जब गोपियां भगवान के साथ नहीं होती थी, then also they used to remember the Lord. And when they used to be together with the Lord, they used to cry also, thinking that Lord will go disappear and then who will be with us? So they were always crying. When they were not with the Lord also, when they were with the Lord also. So they were always hankering for the Lord. That is why the gopis are at the topmost level of devotion, because they were always hankering for the Lord. Right? कभी satisfy नहीं होते थे Lord से कि हाँ देख लिया बस हो गया. We have to be always greedy for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Right? When His Grace Amrendra Prabhu came to our house, we offered him to write something on our this guest book, right? And he wrote that be always greedy to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? तो व्हाट डज इट मीन? वी हैव टू ऑलवेज बिकम ग्रीडी. कभी सेटिस्फाई नहीं होना चाहिए कि हाँ चलो हाश 16 माला हो गई आज की, अभी अभी माला को हाथ नहीं लगाने का है, राइट? हमारा भाव नॉर्मली भाव ये रहता है, अरे कैसे तो 16 माला हो गई खत्म, अभी पूरे दिन माला को हाथ नहीं लगाएंगे, अभी कुछ और काम करेंगे, राइट? बट आफ्टर 16 राउंड होने के बाद हम लोग ग्रीड रहता है क्या कि चलो और करते हैं, लेट मी डू मोर, लेट मी डू मोर, लेट मी हियर मोर, लेट मी रीड मोर. So that greed is an anartha actually, but that same anartha you can utilize for Krishna by being more greedy for Krishna, more hankering for Krishna. That will clear us from our material desires. It's a very important point here. If you have any questions, you can raise hands. Huh? सत्सेवया दीर्घयापि जता जता जातमयि दृढमति हित्वा वदम् इमं लोकं यन्तामज् जनातमसि.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My service of the absolute truth, even for a few days, a devotee attains firm and fixed intelligence in me. Consequently, he goes on to become my associate in the transcendental world after giving up the present deplorable material worlds.
So by serving the absolute truth, even for few days, devotee attains a firm and fixed intelligence in me. Consequently, means eventually he goes to become associate in the transcendental world. So what happens here? After giving the present deplorable material world. So हम अगर इस जगत में इस भौतिक जगत में if you are serving the Lord for some time, then the same activity will be continuing in the spiritual world. So Lord will consequently eventually will go and give us the opportunity to be with him in the spiritual worlds. Even I was hearing in one lecture कि आपका जब devotion you reach to the higher stages of the devotion and you are advanced, then Lord will give you the opportunity to be with him in his leelas in the material world, right? Lord is performing the leelas in the material world also, correct na? Though material world is coming from the Lord, sometimes Lord comes in the material world to perform the leelas, correct? Like 5,500 years back, Krishna came to this material world to perform the leelas. So before going to spiritual world, he gives the opportunity to the devotees to be with him in the material world as participant to his leelas in the material world. And then he takes to the spiritual world. Are you getting it? What I'm trying to say? So that's what Krishna is saying here. That consequently you become his associate in the transcendental world after giving the present material world. So हमारा काम क्या है? Present material world में भी we have to serve the Lord. In the spiritual world also when we reach, we will have to serve the Lord. So the same activity is to be done, but there we will be doing it more without any deviation. Ananya bhak. Here we are doing with deviation, with disturbances, with aparadhas. So as we get purified, slowly we'll be doing without anarthas. जैसे नाम, we have three stages of holy name, right? One is नाम अपराध, second is
Nyamavas, and
नामाभास, and third is Shuddha Nam,
Shuddhanama.
right? Slowly we'll get purified, and the same activity will continue in the transcendental world, being more pure, in a more pure state. मतिर्मयि निबाध्येयं न विपाद्येत कर्हिचित् प्रजा सर्ग निरोधेऽपि स्मृति च मद अनुग्रहात्.
Hare Krishna. Intelligence engaged in my devotional cannot be taught at any time, even at the time of creation as well as at the time of annihilation. Your remembrance will continue by my mercy. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
हाँ, so here is the important point. पता है आपको ये this he was asking the question, व्यासदेव is asking the question to नारद मुनि, that अभी तो तुम दूसरे लाइफ में हो, पिछले लाइफ में तुमने मेड सर्वेंट का काम किया था, एंड देन यू आर द सन ऑफ अ मेड सर्वेंट एंड नाउ यू आर नारद मुनि, सो हाउ यू आर रिमेम्बरिंग ऑल दोस थिंग्स? कल्प, इतना सारा कल्प चेंज हो गया है. सो हियर इज द आंसर. Intelligence engaged in devotion cannot be thwarted at any time. Even at the time of creation as well as at the time of annihilation, your remembrance will continue. So if Krishna is merciful, the remembrance जो है, it will continue. So time factor will also not interrupt one's devotional service, right? Time factor will also not interrupt devotional service. The remembrance will continue because ultimately we know from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 15, that remembrance come from Krishna, right? सर्वस्य चाहं हृदिशा निविष्टो मत्त स्मृति ज्ञानम अपोहनम च वेदैश्च सर्वे अहमेव वेद्यो वेदांत कृद् विद्येव चाहम. So Krishna says remembrance, forgetfulness and knowledge. Matta smriti, jnanam apohanam cha. Smriti is remembrance, jnanam is knowledge, and apohanam is forgetfulness. तो ये तीनों चीजें जो है इज कमिंग फ्रॉम कृष्णा. So if he is merciful, we will remember, and our remembrance, everything will continue in different lifetimes also. The remembrance of devotional service. Hmm? That's what we understand. So कई बार हमें पता रहता है ना कि बहुत लोगों को they are like they are performing devotional service very easily from very childhood time, right? So because Krishna gives them the remembrance of their previous devotional service, so they continue from that point. Hmm? एतावात् उक्तयो परमा तन्महाद् भूतां नभो लिङ्गम् अलिङ्गम् ईश्वरम् अहं च तस्मै महत्तं महीयसे शीर्ष्णानावन मां विधादे अनुकम्पितः. Hmm. See the translation. Someone can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Then that supreme authority, personified by sound and unseen by eyes, but most wonderful, stopped speaking.
Hmm.
Feeling a sense of gratitude, I offered my obeisances unto him, bowing my head.
Hmm. So Lord glorifies the devotional service. Okay, you'll be after a few days or few, even after some time you'll come to my spiritual world. He gives promise to Narad Muni, and then he also says that because of my mercy you will remember. Time factor will also not work on that. And why I've stopped you giving darshan, because your service is incomplete, and uh, you're little free, not free from material taints. So once you complete all those things, then you'll come to see me in my spiritual world. And then he stopped talking, right? So that's where Narad Muni pays the his obeisances as a sense of gratitude. Hmm? So यहाँ पे लिखा है प्रभुपाद translates personified by sound. So sound personification is also Krishna. Whatever sound we hear is actually Krishna, but this was actually sound of Krishna, right? Where he says, "I am the sound" in Bhagavad Gita.
That Vibhuti Yoga, that all sound is Om, of all the
Yes,
sound.
very nice. Of all the sound, I am Om. In the same chapter, he says, Shabdakhe Paurusham Nushu. Right? Shabdakhe means Shabda is sound, Khe is sky. Right? So whatever sound you hear in the sky, that is Krishna. In one lecture I was hearing, if you are hearing the sound of the aeroplane also, the aeroplane goes in the sky and you hear the sound, right? That sound is coming from the sky, so that is also Krishna. Whatever sound we are hearing, that is Krishna. Shabdakhe Paurusham Nushu. Right? So here is personified by sound. There's no difference between his sound and he himself. Because he's absolute. That is what meaning of absolute means. कि भगवान का नाम गुण लीला वाणी में कोई भी अंतर नहीं है. नामानि अनन्तस्य हतात्र पापतन् गुह्यानि भद्राणि कृतानि च स्मरन् गं प्रयास्तं तुष्टमनागता स्पृह कालं प्रतीक्षं विमदो विमात्सरः. Hmm.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thus I began chanting the holy name and fame of the Lord by re- repeated recitation, ignoring all the formalities of the material world. Such chanting and remembering of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are benedictory. So doing, I traveled all over the earth, fully satisfied, humble, and unenvious.
So क्या qualities in Narad Muni ka how he is traveling all over the earth? Three qualities.
Satisfied, humble, and unenvious.
Fully satisfied. Right? हम लोग
Fully
अभी भगवत गीता में पढ़ रहे थे फ्राइडे को, right? तुष्टम.
satisfied.
So fully satisfied, humble, and then non-envious, unenvious. Right? This is what Krishna also asked. Adveshta sarva bhutanam. Right? That's the seven qualities we saw, which Krishna says, if you are having that, you will become my dear. Right? You will become dear to me. Which are the seven qualities? Adveshta sarva bhutanam. Maitriya karuna evacha. निरहंकारो निर्ममो निरहंकार sama dukha sukha kshami. So these are the seven qualities which Krishna says if you are having you'll become my dear. So unenvious is one quality, right? He says to Arjuna also, because you are unenvious, non-envious, I am telling you this truth, right? So ये बहुत important quality which we should try to imbibe of being non-envious to other living entities, right? And having these qualities, what Narad Muni did, I began chanting the holy name and the fame of the Lord by repeated recitation. Repeated recitation का क्या अर्थ है?
सततम कीर्तनम.
सततम. ही इज रिपीटिंग दैट सेम थिंग, है ना? कई बार हम बोलते हैं अरे क्या सुबह को रोज उठ के 16 राउंड वही वही महामंत्र, कोई नया मंत्र दो आज, आज कुछ नया मंत्र करेंगे, आज कुछ तूफानी करते हैं, है ना? ऐसा कुछ नहीं है हमारे प्रोसेस में. वी हैव द सेम मंत्र, वी हैव टू डू रिपीटेड रिसाइटेशन ऑफ द सेम महामंत्र, राइट? हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. एक ही मंत्र है जो कि बार बार रिपीटेडली रिसाइट करना है. कोई नया मंत्र रोज रोज नहीं मिलने वाला है कि कुछ नया करते हैं. एंड स्पिरिचुअल हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र इज नॉट लाइक मटेरियल सॉन्ग, कि मटेरियल सॉन्ग एक बार हमने सुन लिया तो 10 बार सुने, 5 बार सुने, फिर हम बोर हो जाते हैं. बट विद द सेम महामंत्र इफ यू आर रिपीटिंग मल्टीपल टाइम्स, then what happens? You become more purified, right? This is what Narad Muni is also suggesting. Such chanting and remembering of the transcendental pastime of the Lord are benedictory. So he traveled all over the earth fully satisfied, humble and unenvious. भगवान को देख लिया, भगवान की वाणी सुन ली, भगवान के इंस्ट्रक्शन भी मिल गए that you complete your devotion and then you will come to my spiritual world. So he was now fully satisfied and he started reciting repeatedly Krishna's name, fame, glories and pastimes. This is what the activities of a devotee. He is experiencing by his personal example. See, Prabhupada पहली लाइन में लिख रहे हैं purport में. The life of a sincere devotee of the Lord is thus explained in a nutshell. Oops, what I did. Sorry. Yeah. The life of the sincere devotee is thus explained in a nutshell by Narad Muni by his personal example. Such a devotee, after his initiation by the Lord or his bona fide representative, takes very seriously the chanting of glories of holy name and traveling all over the world so that others may also hear the glories of the Lord. यहाँ पे क्या समझ में आया हमको by this paragraph?
So Prabhupada did the same thing.
Prabhupada did the same thing. Okay. What is explained here? What is the important point here?
We should take the shelter of the Guru. We should take
Jai,
the
very nice. Very nice, Ashish Prabhu. So Narad Muni was himself initiated by the Lord. Lord only gave the instructions to him. ऐसे नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि हाँ भाई रिपीटेडली हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र बोला है करने के लिए तो हम करते रहेंगे, हमें कोई गुरु का जरूरत नहीं है, राइट? जिसको ये लगता है कि हमें गुरु का जरूरत नहीं है वो अज्ञानता में है, right? Narad Muni was initiated by the Lord, and that's why he's suggesting that with the instructions of bona fide spiritual master, after initiation, you take the Maha Mantra seriously and then keep on reciting the same thing. Because Guru will recite for you and वो आपको initiate करेंगे. Without Guru, there is no, there is no point in taking the holy name. Without the Guru association, there is no point that we can meet the Lord. राइट? इवन यहाँ तक थर्ड कैंटो में भी हम पढ़ेंगे विदुर और मैत्रेय का संवाद आता है, राइट? मैत्रेय मुनि एंड विदुर. विदुर वी नो, राइट? हु इज विदुर?
He's the brother of Dhritarashtra.
Yeah, he is brother of Dhritarashtra. That is okay in that Vidura life, but actually who is Vidura?
He is
Yama.
Yama and
Yamraj. Very nice. He is Yamraj himself. He is Yamraj himself. He is one of the 12 Mahajans. He is the direct associate of the Lord, being directly engaged in Krishna's service. कोई भी जीवात्मा है उसको पहले किसको देखना पड़ता है जाके?
यमराज को.
यमराज को. आफ्टर मृत्यु एवरीबडी गोज टू पे रिस्पेक्टफुल ओबेसिस टू यमराज, है ना? इतना उनका इंपॉर्टेंट सेवा है. बट देन एट दैट पोजिशन इज अ प्योर डिवोटी ऑफ द लॉर्ड. एट दैट पोजिशन ऑल्सो ही कम्स डाउन टू द मटेरियल वर्ल्ड बिकॉज ऑफ द कर्स ऑफ मुंडका मुनि. एंड देन उनको मैत्रेय मुनि के पास सरेंडर करना पड़ता है. ही एक्सेप्ट्स हिम एज अ स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर. ही गेट्स इंस्ट्रक्शंस फ्रॉम मैत्रेय मुनि एट दैट लेवल ऑल्सो. तो पॉइंट क्या बता रहा हूँ मैं यहाँ पे, व्हाट इज स्ट्रेस पॉइंट हियर, दैट इवन इफ यू आर एट अ वेरी एलिवेटेड स्टेट, स्टिल यू नीड अ स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर, स्पिरिचुअल गुरु टू अंडरस्टैंड द ट्रांसेंडेंटल नॉलेज। बिना गुरु के आपको आध्यात्मिक ज्ञान प्राप्त होना ये संभव है ही नहीं। अगर किसी को लेश मात्र भी शंका हो तो दूर कर दीजिए कि गुरु का हमको शरण किए बिना हमें आध्यात्मिक नॉलेज मिल जाएगा। सिर्फ पढ़ने से, थियरी पढ़ने से आध्यात्मिक नॉलेज आ गया, ऐसा नहीं होने वाला है। हमको शास्त्रों से अनेक अनेक उदाहरण है। विदाउट सरेंडरिंग टू गुरु and without guru accepting us as a disciple, we are not going to receive the transcendental knowledge, and we are forget about getting the appearance of Krishna and his voice. Okay, let us read further. Evam Krishna Mater Brahman. Yes, Sarita Mataji, you have some question?
Prabhuji, I got a thought. Without initiation, if one leave the body and then go, if they are doing some practices, but without initiation, if they are leaving their body, even though if they are chanting for so many years, then
Yeah.
but still, officially they don't have any guru. That time, what happens, Prabhuji? Exactly, like I have that thought when you are
Yeah,
saying
same.
that.
You'll have to come back in the next life and accept a guru. You'll be still stuck in the material life, that circle. Without guru, there is no escape.
No, even though if the person is self-realized, I mean to say, it's not only in Krishna consciousness, in any other
Any consciousness,
religions,
any
any other.
adhyatmic, yeah, any adhyatmic process, any spiritual practice, you need
Mm.
a guru, spiritual guru, to deliver you the transcendental knowledge. Otherwise there is no acceptance in any kind of spiritual world without the guru. Even if you are self-realized, so self-realized doesn't mean that you read all the shastra and you become self-realized.
I
There's
mean to say,
nothing
like,
called
I,
self-realization under a tree. You need a guru
yeah, yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
to have the self realization, right? शास्त्र सारे पढ़ लिए हमने, we study all the Vedas, Puranas, and we
Mm.
remember all the things, but still we will not be self realized. We need a guru so that he
Mhm.
blesses us, because guru is what? See, understand one thing. There are three kinds of guru we know, right? One
Mm.
is uh, mm, uh, Path Pradashak Guru, who shows us the way of the temple, right? कि यहाँ पे जाओ सरिता माता जी, the temple is in that location, or the class is happening here, right? Or you please go to meet that devotee. That is a Path Pradarshak Guru, right? Second is Shiksha Guru, who provides the instructions, right? Third is the Diksha Guru, who gives the initiation, right? Who gives the initiation and takes away, he resets our counter of the material sins, right? And he connects us to Krishna, right? And fourth is the Chaitya Guru, who is the Krishna within ourselves. Chaitya Guru जो अंदर है हमारे heart में, he is Krishna, he is the Chaitya Guru. So how the super soul talks to a disciple, or how the super soul talks to us? The Bhagavan है, how he speaks to us? He speaks to us from within as a self, as a Chaitya Guru, and he speaks externally to us in the form of a spiritual master, right? So Krishna is speaking to us in the form of spiritual master from outside, and from inside as Chaitya Guru. This is the principle. So when you are having a spiritual guru, whatever he says, you have to surrender, you have to follow, because he is Krishna himself. You consider him as the Krishna in the form of a Chaitya Guru, who is external, not internal, external in the form of spiritual master. Right? So without spiritual master, even Krishna has accepted spiritual master. His guru, what is his name of his guru? भगवान के गुरु का नाम क्या है? कृष्ण के
Sandipani.
गुरु का नाम
Sandipani
सांदीपनी
Guru.
मुनि. Right? Right? So he accepted a guru just to show that you all have to accept guru. भगवान को कोई गुरु की जरूरत नहीं, ही इज आदि गुरु हिमसेल्फ. But still he is coming in this material world, he is accepting to show other common people that without guru even we cannot do anything, so you have to also accept. Yajjad acharati shreshtas tat tat devataro jana. Whatever great people do, common people follow. So in any spiritual practice, be it in ISKCON or non-ISKCON, if you are looking for spiritual realization, self-realization, adhyatmic realization, absolute truth realization, you need a spiritual guru. This is the verdict of the Shastras. Right? एक लाइफ टाइम में नहीं हुआ तो यू हैव टू कम इन अनदर लाइफ टाइम अगेन, बट यू हैव टू हैव अ गुरु, देन ओनली यू कैन कम आउट ऑफ दिस मटेरियल लाइफ डेथ एंड सर्कल, अदरवाइज इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल, राइट? You have to surrender to a spiritual guru, a living spiritual guru. Let me make it more clear,
Yeah, Prabhuji.
right? Okay.
In that process, I got one doubt also. Like,
Yeah.
if one is initiating at the end of the life, if see, you have mentioned like when during the time of initiation, he will take away all the our materials is till the
Mm.
time whatever we
Mm.
have done. Then from
Mm.
that he will like a newborn. He will be
Mm.
we will be giving.
Mm.
Starting our process.
Mm.
So maybe if we are dying, maybe in another 5, 5, 10 years, during that time, if you take the very less sins are there, so very quick to go to. Mm,
No, after initiation, initiation doesn't mean you have completed. Initiation means you have to start, initiate, right? Initiation means initiate. So once you are getting initiation, from there you have to start practicing seriously with more gravity, with more sincerity, right? That's what Narad Muni में भी हमने पढ़ा ना, कि after initiation you will start, once he is initiated. See, in the previous shloka we read already, right? I'll just go back. Not sure which shloka. Yeah, see, Prabhupada says here, such a devotee after his initiation by the Lord or his bona fide representative takes very seriously the chanting of the glories of the Lord and traveling all over the world, so that others may also hear the glories of the Lord. So after initiation, क्या करना है disciple को? He takes the chanting very seriously, right? So if you're getting initiated towards the last of your life, कि अभी मेरा 80 साल तो मैं कम से कम जिएंगे, so let us get initiated in 77 year. 3 साल इनिशिएशन में, तब तक सारे सिन खत्म हो जाएंगे, तब तक सारे सिन कर लो, वॉट एवर सिंस वी कैन डू, लेट्स कंटिन्यू डूइंग सिंफुल एक्टिविटीज टिल 78 years, and then we'll get initiation, and then we will die, so our sins are zero and we will be all happy liberated. No, that is not the way. You have to get initiated as early as possible, so that you start practicing seriously the chanting, and you are connected more with Krishna, because after initiation only the real bhakti happens, the real bhakti starts after initiation. That's why it is called initiation. He will initiate you to the process of bhakti. Now we are doing is practice, right? So a devotee should think that जितना जल्दी हो सके I have to surrender to a guru and I have to take initiation from him, so that whatever I am doing, I have to complete my chanting and complete my sadhana in this lifetime only. So if you are getting initiated towards the last of your lifespan, you will not have much years to complete your bhakti, right? So if you initiate very early stage, then you have more years to complete your sadhana. Correct, no? You understanding? If you have a time scale, and if you are initiating between 0 to 10 years of age, then 10 to 70 you have time to complete your sadhana. But if you are getting initiated at the 70 years, then you have very less time, right? So as far as you understand that initiation is non-optional, that time only you have to inquire that where I can get initiation, who can be my guru, and how I can get started with the process. That is what the right inquiry a devotee should do. Correct, Mataji? Yes, Satish Prabhu.
I think, Prabhuji, after the initiations, only Krishna will accept our bhakti. Till then, I think it's reaching to Guru.
Yeah. After initiation only Krishna will accept, because Guru is representing Radharani also. Because Guru only can serve Srimati Radharani and Srimati Radharani can serve Krishna. So your service will reach to Krishna when he will connect you to Krishna. And initiation means he is connecting you to the root, right? Now we are just practicing. So initiation में he will connect you to the root, to the Guru Parampara system, which is coming from Krishna. So वो connection हमको चाहिए, so that we get our supercharged from that connection, and our bhakti has more potency, more power, right? So he connects us to the Guru, to Krishna, to Guru Parampara system. Okay,
And
that's
it's
why
vice
initiation
versa.
is
If
not optional.
we, and it's vice versa. If we did the mistake and everything, then it will go to our Guru also.
Yeah, I mean that is of course you have to, because you are taking some vows, right? जब आप
Yeah.
initiation लेते हो, you take commitment in front of the guru, in front of deities. So if you break that vows, definitely there will be some reactions, right?
Okay.
Somebody has to bear that reaction. So
Okay.
guru takes the responsibility. That's why guru is asking disciple to be more sincere, to be more sincere in their sadhanas. इसीलिए guru is not giving very difficult instruction these days to disciples, that if they are not doing, then वो कौन सा अपराध हो जाएगा? मोनिका जी, कौन से नंबर का अपराध है?
Three, which first one is okay. Third one is for the spiritual master.
Yes, very correct. Third one is for spiritual master. To disobey the instructions of spiritual master is offense number 3 in नाम अपराध, राइट? तो इसीलिए गुरु इतनी डिफिकल्ट इंस्ट्रक्शंस भी आजकल नहीं देते हैं, that you disobey and then you fall into aparadh. So guru are so merciful that they don't want their disciple to fall in the trap of aparadh. So इसलिए easy instructions ही देते हैं which are doable, right? So that's how you have to understand. So
So
gurus are more
initially one
merciful even than
initiation.
Krishna.
Yeah. So
Huh?
once I think in our parampara we did first initiation, then second initiation is Brahmanic initiation, right?
Yes. So first initiation happens, which is called Harinam Diksha, and
Okay.
second initiation, which is called Brahman Diksha. So second initiation is Brahman initiation.
So where you have to chant more mala also in Brahminic Diksha or same minimum 16 rounds?
No, so number of rounds is same as in Brahman Diksha, but you get Gayatri Mantra. So
Okay.
when you are Brahman initiated, you get Gayatri Mantra from the Guru, which you have to chant, right?
Yes.
And there are certain other things. So you become more serious in your devotion, in your practices. Okay, very good. So we'll read one more paragraph, one more shloka. We read this one, right? No, yeah, we'll read. एवं कृष्णामतेर्ब्रह्मन् नास् नास् नासक्तस्य मलात्मनः कालप्रदु प्रदुराभूत्काले तादिसौमा सौदामनि यथा. Someone can read the translation.
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And so, O Brahmana Vyasadeva, in due course of time, I, who was fully absorbed in thinking of Krishna and who therefore had no attachments, being completely freed from all material taints, met with death as lightning and illumination occur simultaneously. Hare Krishna.
So यहाँ पे क्या हुआ देखिए. So when Narad Muni after Lord disappeared, he started chanting after initiation. He started chanting, and then he's saying, "Oh Brahmana, oh Vyasadeva." He's talking to Vyasadeva now. In due course of time, I fully absorbed in thinking of Krishna. He was fully absorbed in thinking of Krishna. Ante Narayana Smriti, who therefore had no attachments. He was not having any attachment, no material taints, right? And then he finally met with death, right? As lighting and illumination occur simultaneously. So he met with that just to get a next spiritual life, right? So in the next life, he will be going to become a Narad Muni, right? So that's what happens. So this is the life ending of that son of a maid servant. Clear? That is what is ending now. He's meeting with death as lighting and illumination occur simultaneously. So for devotees, death is also like it is a new journey. They are also meeting Krishna. It is not that means there's end of everything. मृत्यु का अर्थ सब कुछ खत्म हो जाना नहीं है, एक अलग अध्याय शुरू होता है. सो दिस इज व्हाट हैपेंस फॉर नारद मुनि. Okay, so we'll stop here. It's 1 hour already. Next will be Narad Muni's full perfection, how he got Narad Muni's body and then what he did in the as a spiritual body. It's very interesting क्योंकि कौन सा body मिलता है उनको and how he travels and how he concludes. We'll see in the next class. Okay, any questions? Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, in this slokas, when we are saying, sometimes we'll get the glimpse of God mercy, so that some people will get goosebumps, and some people will have that ecstasy of crying. But in another one of the lecturers, they say that uh, if I'm not sure. Like they said, like if we are really having the ecstasy means whenever we see the Lord, we should have that same symptoms every time. It's not like once in a while. That is like emotion, something like that. Can you just elaborate that point, Prabhuji?
Yeah, so I mean, it's the same Lord, right? It's the same Lord in the altar. Every time the
Mm,
Radha Sham Sundar is the same in Vrindavan altar, let's say, right?
mm,
But you have that ecstatic feeling sometimes only,
mm.
correct? Because and not every time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Mm,
So that is what we read here, because it is all depending on mercy of Krishna, right?
mm.
Whenever he wants to give the mercy to a devotee, whenever he wants to give the glimpse of his mind, his words, his form, he will give that. Otherwise, he may not. He will cover himself,
Yeah,
right?
my point is like
Krishna,
Prabhuji, they said if you really have that emotion, it should, whenever you see that emotion should come, but not once in a
yeah,
while.
because
Something like that I
correct.
heard
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's what. Because you are all because at some point of time you are in a very good state of mind, in a very pure consciousness. But then other part of time you are covered with some material thoughts and covered with some material taints. That's why you don't get the same emotion always, right? So you have to be always in that state, no? Then you'll get the same emotion always. So sometimes we cry also, right? But then we are not crying always, right? So sometimes the emotions are at the peak, and when we are in the right state of mind, right state of consciousness, right state of association with right mode, right? Then that ecstatic symptoms come, that vikar comes sometimes, a glimpse of that, right? And Krishna is also very smart, right? He will give you only that realization which you can handle, right? If Krishna is giving you more ecstasy, you will go mad, right? If Krishna is giving you more ecstasy, you cannot handle that ecstasy. So he is also giving you in samples based on your degree of surrenderance. He will give you that how much you can handle, how much Pradeep Prabhu can handle, how much Harita can handle, how much Monica can handle. So he will give the same mercy based on the degree of your surrenderance, right? So that's how it becomes. So as you progress, as you get advanced in your sadhana, you'll get more realizations, you know, more realizations from Krishna as you are increasing as you are advancing, right? You'll experience that because bhakti is a matter of realization, right? Pratyakshava dharmam, it says in the 9.2, right? Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam, Pavitram idam uktamam, Pratyakshava dharmam gamyam, Susukham kartum abhyayam. So you have to have the pratyaksha praman. When you do bhakti, you'll get the realizations by yourself, but to the degree of your surrenderness of in your sadhana, right? So every time it is not the same. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any other question? Okay, if no questions, we can stop here. Sorry, there is no prasadam today. So hope to see you all back to UAE, back to your home, so that we can have a physical class and we can have a class with prasadam also. Bhagavatam is always, we are all Goshtan on this. We want to be meeting together, chatting together, having prasadam together, right? So that we can exchange our ideas. Okay? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय शिल प्रभुपाद की जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंतकोटि वैष्णवृंद की जय थैंक यू ऑल हरे कृष्णा
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
हरे
Hare
कृष्णा
Krishna Prabhu.